Right.
This is video number 4, guys, in our drugs information series, and we're back again with Rena and Richie from BCAT. This video we're going to touch on 2 drugs, guys, and it's MDMA and it's acid. I think MDMA, when I was a kid, was the rave drug. It was ecstasy. It's a well-known stimulant. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how it works, how long it takes to take effect, and how long do the effects last?
So MDMA is a difficult one because you never know how much MDMA you have in your pill or you have in your powder. But typically it takes kind of 20 to 60 minutes to take effect. Can last up to a few hours, again depending on the pills you get. I won't say good or bad. There's dangers in not knowing what is in your pills. For example, so MDMA explicitly takes 20 to 60 minutes, right? But one thing that I do want to get out there is there's huge levels of PMA, paramethylmethamphetamine, in our pills and in our powder, which acts the same as MDMA but takes longer for people to come up. So that can take an hour to come up. So we would always, I'm sure I'll get onto the harm reduction tips of how to use different things. So euphoric effect again, so stimulant and can have hallucinogenic effects, love, buzz, all of that. But again, those your heart rate is being increased, your blood pressure is increased, you've got loads of energy, so hence the rave, the dance drug.
People lately think that once you drink massive amounts of water when you're taking this drug, you'll be fine and it's safe as houses. Do you want to clear that one up?
There's huge risk of dehydration. There is huge risk of dehydration with it. So what we would say, and I do harm reduction work sometimes at the festivals as well with another drug service. Didn't get their permission to get their name. So what we would do, and they've started going into the rave in the woods and things, is you're encouraging people to sip at water regularly. So you have water to hand, you're sipping. They're not knocking back these huge bottles you see in these videos and things. You're sipping at water regularly because there's also huge risk of drowning your organs as well.
Potential long and short-term effects. Where do we even start?
Exactly,
Short-term, I guess, first.
So short-term, people describe, okay, let's go positive first for why people use drugs, or why people use MDMA. Energy, love, buzz, euphoria, giddiness. You might be, you feel, people talk about feeling things different, their senses heightened and all of that. Then if we're talking about the more negative effects we've seen, and I'm sure you've all heard, but we'll reiterate it, so the epileptic seizures, much like overdose of cocaine and stuff as well, vomiting, nausea, dizziness, paranoia, again incorporating anxiety and things like that and different mental health issues. And there's no way of knowing. What's very dangerous about MDMA is there's no way of knowing. So it takes that hour to come up. We don't know, you don't know how pure it is. So it's to kind of ride those bits out, let people know what you're using, how much you've used, all of that. And again, I'll get this out because we actually didn't even say in relation to cocaine or anything. Always ring an ambulance. If someone's in trouble, learn the recovery position. We might do something like that sometime. The drugs, I know you've done that with a few of your groups. But always get someone into the recovery position. Always call an ambulance. You will not get in trouble, even if, you're affected as well, we'll say. You will not get in trouble if you ring an ambulance for one of your mates. So, because there is huge risk of not knowing what's in the MDMA. And those seizures, those things can be very scary. Don't think you have to deal with them.
It's a really dangerous drug.
Yeah.
It really is. The effects,
and the longer term effects, once again, mental health issues.
Massive.
Psychological dependence. And those kinds of bits. And they come down from it as well.
I suppose my next thing I was going to say is to come down harder because you've used so much energy, and are you just completely drained?
Like if we saying it's a couple of days to recover after, it's
it can be even longer, if it's been
you've done a marathon basically. I meant a marathon and a half, and it's
you've been putting every organ in your body under such pressure.
Has it come up in prevalence for you guys since you guys started your project?
Absolutely, with me, absolutely, and a lot of girls. I've worked with a lot of the girls who have presented, and it's been one of the top substances, absolutely.
It's quite high, and obviously, and the type of our main drug problems, it would be sort of it would be.
And as well, if we're talking powder as well, we would always try and advise for dabs. Do you know what I mean? To take dabs, to take small bits at small times. Again, if you're doing pills, to take a quarter or half a pill, wait to come up a little bit, just so you know how you're feeling and things like that. This is all harm reduction advice. But with the powder, a lot of people are doing what's called dropsies, which I'm sure you know what they are, and putting it in a skin and dropping it. So that would be something we see a lot, and people in bad ways, and then coming into us the following week still in a bad way.
Yeah.
Again, that comes
Because
out
of it,
because they've taken too much.
Although we work from a harm reduction point of view, if you can avoid it, avoid it.
We always say for not to do drugs. Yeah.
Really, you mentioned hallucinogenics there, and MDMA can have hallucinogenic effects.
Yeah.
Bring us on to acid, LSD, which seems to have come up in prevalence again recently.
Yeah.
And I think one of the things about it is it's so cheap. So it's very cheap to get a high. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it, guys?
So acid is quick. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm.
No, you go ahead.
No,
You go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Any of the young lads linked in with you who know me will be like, look at her. Won't shut up as usual. So.
Yeah, it's cheap and cheerful.
Cheap and cheerful
Yeah,
can take effect up to 30 minutes after you've taken a stamp. So it comes in small paper form with different logos on it.
It's definitely come back though, hasn't it? Like over the last
big time.
I see over the last 3 years now. You can see it's actually creeping back in again.
Yeah.
But more so over the last maybe year now, it's really
year for me. I'm seeing it. Yeah.
Particularly like polydrug, people are using other substances with it as well, like
Yeah.
which is really dangerous as well. So.
And the thing about acid is it can last up to 20 to 22 hours.
Yeah.
The effects, the long-term effects as well, which would be most concerning, are kind of flashbacks or bad trips.
I was going to touch on those. Yeah.
So while it's a hallucinogenic, which means it's kind of disorientating, it can affect all senses, your sense of time, space, everything, visual hallucinations, auricular hearing things as well.
Yeah.
It can very much trigger underlying health issues. Again, that chicken or the egg thing, but we see it. And can very much depend on how you're feeling that day. So again, we always say, no lone use. I would be very much advising clients never to be using things alone.
Yeah.
Let someone know what you're taking as well.
What do you do if someone is on a bad trip for 20 or to 22 hours or 24 hours? How like if you're with a person, how can you manage that from a harm reduction point of view, or what can you do?
From a harm reduction point of view, I would always tell young people to get an adult. You know, you are not going to get in trouble for getting someone help. I would always commend clients, I would always commend young people in my own life, whether they used or not, if they got the person the help, because it can be very, very distressing, of course, for the person who's on the trip. It can be very distressing for their mates who are with them. And people can do very dangerous things when they are tripping badly. Yeah. So it's sitting with the person, it's making sure they are hydrated, they're the kind of physical things, and keeping them safe. Do not leave them alone. You know, unfortunately, young people are using out and about. If you are anywhere, if we're talking Bray, get off Bray Head, get away from the sea, get somewhere safe, and get help. Is what I would always encourage.
Is there a danger, guys, because it's so cheap? Is that one of the reasons why it's become more prevalent, do you reckon? And is that a danger that it's going to become more and more prevalent, I guess, because of it is so so
especially
cheap?
with young people who don't have money. Okay, they
what
can get.
What are you paying there for? Now
you're paying. It's really low for a stamp.
Yes.
I don't know. Is it €1, €2?
Yes,
like €1, €2.
Yeah.
€2 stamp. Like, you know, I think in 20 hours of a hit.
Yeah.
Plus.
Yeah. So
definitely,
with any substance, the availability and the cost
is
most concerning.
Actually,
from a long-term point of view, is one of the most dangerous ones because of those flashbacks and because of the psychoactive effects, I guess.
Definitely, 100%. I'd say definitely it would have it'd be more than one sort of dangerous type of drugs to use, like for young people.
The long-term psychological effects, and also the short-term risk of the behaviours, what you might do. While tripping, even if it's a good trip, you can be on a good trip and you can be down the harbour or something, you can end up in the sea and know someone else is tripping something else a bit further back. And we do hear horror stories, and I'm sure everybody does in the news and things, but we see them of what can happen. So it is very dangerous,
MDMA and acid together, we talked about them both, is lethal, I would guess, potentially.
Well, for the hallucinogenic kind of, you know, what word am I trying to say? Element of them both. You're messing with the chemistry of your brain. Your brain is trying to develop, you know, and be it adult or be it adolescent, we can only imagine what it is doing to it, you know. And again, this polydrug use thing. So again, it, you know, what I said about, I can't remember which substance we were talking about. I think it was cocaine and alcohol. Similar with any drug you are using, if you're mixing it with another drug, it's going to have other effects. So people do like their cocktails. We get clients in and they're saying, I like this much, and they're very specific about how much of each thing they use. So it's that kind of educating that, you know, you may be taking ketamine, a small bit of ketamine, a small bit of 1 dropsy of however amount of MDMA and 2 stamps of acid over a 6-hour period. It may not be the same every time because, again, we don't know what's in everything.
That's it,
yeah. Guys, that's acid and MDMA. Really useful information there, and some factual information, real life stories about how these drugs can affect your brain. So hope that was useful to you. We have one more video. We're going to talk about nitrous oxide, which is laughing gas, and tune in for that. So thanks again to Richie and Rena. Just in case it's their first time, guys, tuning in, you just want to go through your contacts one more time, guys?
Yeah, you can give me a ring or a text on 087 606 8595, or you can get me on my email, or Houlihan's, that's RHOLAHAN @bcat.ie.
You can get me at orwinter@bcat.ie, or the office number is 276 4692.
Deadly,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a million.